Hello and welcome to the 10th annual Night of 1,000 Stories. Of course, we'd hoped to meet in person, which is just always so much fun. But how great is this, that we're doing this remotely and virtually, so that we actually maybe have more people who couldn't come in person, people from across the country joining us. We have families, donors, volunteers, teachers, alum, kids who are participating. It's just great. So maybe we have more at the table. We're here to have a lot of fun, to have great conversation, but also to raise the critical funds that 826 Boston needs to continue its free writing programs for kids in this area. Yeah, they're doing it virtually, even during a pandemic, but they can't do it without your help. So at any time, feel free to go to this button up here to contribute to, what you're seeing unfold here. It's really amazing. Later tonight, we are so excited. We have a YA young adult author superstar, Auntie Thomas, who is going to be interviewed by rising superstar, we feel, 826 alum, Legacy Thornton. That's going to be just fantastic, worth being here. We're not going to keep you long because we know people have things to do. We hope to wrap up the program a little before 8 o'clock, but then we're also going to have Zoom rooms that you can go to, catch up with people, have great conversations about the conversation that you're going to hear here. Also, 826 representatives will be there with any questions you have, so that's great. You can carry on, and if perhaps you're having a little wine at home while you're enjoying the evening, we will not object. You should also check out our auction items. They're always great, but again, they go help support the free writing programs. So just take a look at the link on this page and participate there as well. And now we're thrilled to bring out Boston's top celebrity chef, Joanne Chang, to kick us off.
Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Joanne Chang. I am the chef and co-owner of Myers & Chang here in Boston, and I am beaming in from the bar at Myers & Chang. We are open for takeout and patio when the weather's nice, although it's raining right now. Thank you, Robin. I'm so excited to be here with all of you tonight to celebrate 826 Boston and the incredible work that they do with all of the students. What an amazing youth writing organization, and I'm so proud to be a part of supporting them and thanking you to also support them. So we are going to spend a little time together to create a cocktail, a drink to toast to them. You should have gotten the email earlier with all of the ingredients, and now let's make our wonderful drink. So we're going to start off with some pineapple vodka. And if you want a non-alcoholic version, you can skip the vodka and just do a double shot of pineapple juice. So I put in pineapple vodka, pineapple juice. Then I put in, this is Thai basil. It's a really beautiful basil. Smells amazing. I'm going to tear all of this up so that I can get all that great aromatic flavor from the Thai basil. I'm going to put that in there with the pineapple vodka and the pineapple juice. Now I've got ice. This is so fun. Okay, so now you take this, just like that. Remember cocktail? Oh, shoot. You gotta shake it really good. You want it really frothy. Is that good enough? Did I do enough? Okay, I got the okay from our team. Whoa, that looks amazing. Now, hold on. Take your cup. If you have this fancy strainer, use it. It goes like that. And then you're going to pour this wonderful, delicious, beautiful, frothy drink. Just like that. And for a final touch, you're going to take one more piece of Thai basil, smash it in your hand, lay it on top, and voila. So let's all raise our glasses and toast the incredible students of 826 Boston. Thank you all so much. This is such a challenging time for everybody, and the fact that you are still supporting us really means so much. We need to help these young students as they continue pushing themselves in communication and writing. So let's give a toast to all the amazing students and teachers at 826. And now for some other people who are going to be talking to you tonight. Thank you. Bye.
I love that 826 is a community of creativity. Whether it's zines or chapbooks or college essays or more, 826 is a foundation for words that connect hearts and minds through any distance.
There's such a wonderful community. Everyone I've worked with has always been so helpful and kind when it came to my writing, and it's really helping me become a better writer.
One thing that I appreciate about 826 Boston is the power they have for students to write their stories and share their voice through writing, which is a really powerful tool.
826 for me is where writers and their audiences connect, and that's what I love about 826. It's helping students realize that there's a huge crowd out there of readers who are waiting to hear their voices, and in my opinion, nothing is more empowering to young writers or writers in general than knowing that people want to read their work.
It's such a supportive and helpful community. It's a community where you can be yourself.
826 is a great place because everyone there is kind, patient, and generous.
We love 826 Boston because of all the amazing student writers who write our favorite books. Soybean's favorite is And Lester Swam On, and our whole family enjoys We Hope You'll Visit when we walk around our neighborhood in Fields Corner.
I love 826 because as a student, they helped me to discover my voice. And as a former staff member, I was able to help other students discover theirs.
I can think of no other year in which it has been so vital and critical to have an outlet, to have a safe space where you can go to share your hopes, your dreams.
While 826 Boston is working through multiple avenues to provide support for students during this pandemic, I personally saw the impact that the College District Bootcamp had on students when I worked there as a tutor this past summer.
The kids and their college essays are what I love most about 826 Boston. That moment when we find the nugget of truth or that beautiful image that they've written. Tamar had one, Andrea had one, Ray had one, they all do.
I'm currently volunteering with 826 Boston at my former high school, Jeremiah Eberg High School, helping the students with their college essays. I'm grateful to be back and offer help, just like I got help when I was there as a first student in the writers' room.
Thank you, 826 Boston, for everything that you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, 826.
What a way to kick off the evening with the voices of 826 Boston's community. Now, my job right now is to tell you a little bit about what you can expect tonight at 826 Boston's virtual Night of 1,000 Stories. First off, I want to share with you that we are literally live right now, me and you, which is super cool in the terms of this whole new virtual world. But having said that, what it means is that there might be a 30-second delay from your bids to the screen. But don't stress, we're just still receiving those donations and bids in real time. It just takes a second for it to show up on the screen. And we also wanted to let you know that your credit cards will not be charged immediately. So if you'd like to make a pledge, please do so now online and help us reach that goal of $125,000 tonight. And we are going to follow up with you afterwards to confirm your payment. So that means if you'd like to make a pledge and then pay with your donor advised fund later, that's great. Please just indicate your donation amount on the donate link. And when we contact you after the event, you can just let us know that you'll be paying that way. And of course, you can pay by check too. Now, after the event, you're going to have the chance to enter one of the Zoom breakout rooms. And you've definitely already received an assignment for that meeting, which you're in, either A or B. And you can find those links in the site below the feed. Now, some of you might not want to join a Zoom room afterwards, and that's just perfectly okay too. So, to wrap it up and to remind you that you're going to watch the show live right here, right now on this site where you are. And then after the event, I'm going to instruct you to click your assigned meeting at the link below. But you don't got to worry about that right now. Now, let's just have fun by kicking off the live auction. So, friends, let's go to your phones, to your tablets, if you've got a window open on your computer, whatever it may be. I'm going to click the link that they sent me, and it's going to take us right over to that bidding platform, and you can check out the first item with me. This is a long weekend in Londonderry, Vermont. This is great. This is going to be a wonderful party for you. This sleeps 8, so you could maybe bring 2 families or a huge group of friends. And here's some fun stuff about it. Okay, it sleeps 8, it's right next to the mountains, it's 2 miles away from Magic Mountain. You can even see the slopes from the house. Maybe even from when you're kicking back in the hot tub, which they totally have there for you, in this exquisite private home. Also, what's awesome is that they've expanded the expiration date of this to the end of 2022. You know, like when we have robots and flying cars for everybody. So at the end of 2022, you can still go skiing there. So that means you've got 2 winter seasons to choose from. See, what else can I tell you? It's 3 hours away from Boston. It's online. People have been looking at it for a few days. You don't have to go in the winter. You can go in the summer. There's a pond there. You can go swimming, kayaking, canoeing, biking. You could go in the spring when it's mud season and consider it like a writing retreat. You know, you could pretend you're Emily Bronte out on the moors. It's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful way to give to 826 Boston tonight. You give us the donations. You bid high. You bid often. The money goes straight to the 826 programs, and you get to have a long weekend in Londonderry, Vermont. So again, this has been online for a little bit. It's been bid on, so keep bidding. We started at 500. Let's see where we started and where we're going. Started at 500, then it went to 750, then 1,000, then 1,250, then 1,525, then 1,775, then 2,025, then 2,275. Now we're at $2,525. We're at $2,525. So let's bring it up an easy $200 right now. How about $2,725? Do we have $2,725? Let's bring it up to the next bid. Let's see what we got out there. Come on, guys. Let's keep bidding on this one. So our top, we're at $2,775. How about $2,975? How about $2,975? Barbara is our top bidder right now. Greg, come on back in. You've been overbid here, Greg. So come on back in from the kitchen with your cocktail. Bring 2 if you need to, Greg. Come on back, because we know that you want to go to the Green Mountain Getaway. Friends, it's not available for Christmas, but what it is available for is a Christmas present. How great would that be? So again, let's see where we are. We've got that top bidder at, I think, $2,775. That's Barbara. So Barbara, it's yours right now, but I'm looking for Greg. Come on back in. Brenda, come back in. Tyler, come back in. Pamela, Raquel. Let's make this a party for everybody. Let's see. We're trying to get another $200 out of this for it to be $2,975. Oh, awesome. We've got $3,025 right now as our top bid. Thank you so much for coming on in, Steve. I like that. Like how you play. Barbara, now I'm talking to you. Come on back, because we're over $3,000 now. So Barbara, we're looking for you to come in. We're at $3,025, so let's make it $3,225. How about just another $200, Barbara? Just another $200? It's just another fancy pair of shoes or something? Oh, come on. Surely it's worth it to you for another $200. Barbara, Greg, friends, I'm talking to you. We've got Steve in at $3,025. I'm looking for $3,250 because we've got Steve, $3,025 going once. I'm looking for $3,225. We got $3,025 going twice. I'm looking for $3,225. Yes, do we get it? Do we get it? Do we get it? We're at $3,275. Oh, fantastic. All right, it went up another $200. Let's do it again. Let's do that again. So it's $3,275. Let's make that $3,475. $3,475 is what we're looking for. $3,475. Let's come back. Oh, $3,525. Awesome. Yes, Steve, that's the way to play. Let's get competitive here. I'm sure you're all very chill and not competitive with each other as friends, but now's the time to let go of that. We're at $3,525. I'd like to get to this $3,725. Do we have $3,725? Come on, let's be competitive and throw in another did I see $4,000? We saw $4,000, $4,025 from, I think, is it Michelle? Oh my goodness. Or is it Michael? No, Michelle at $4,025. So let's go for $4,225. Do we have $4,225? So we got $4,025 right now. Again, this sleeps 8 people. This is skiing. This is summer activities. This is it. Oh, whoa, we got 4,275, Steve. Love how you play, like I said. We've got 4,275 right now. I'd like to get it to 4,475 right now is my next one. Or just keep bidding. Just keep bidding. Don't let me stop you, but I'm looking for 4,475. Do we have 4,475? Say yes. Say yes to 4,475. Say yes to 4,475. Michelle, come on back in. Greg, let's go, let's go, let's go. Come on. We got 4,275 going once. I'm looking for 4,475. We've got 4,275 going twice. I'm looking for 4,000. Oh, yes, we got $5,000. Let's keep going. How about 5,250? Do we have 5,250? Say yes to 5,250. Say yes to 5,250. This is a long weekend with 8 of your best friends or family, and maybe that means the same thing. We're at $5,000 right now. I'd like to get it to 5,250. Do we have 5,250? 5,250 is what we're looking for. We got 5,000 going once. I'm looking for 5,250. We got 5,000 going twice. I'm looking for $5,250. Or this one is going to be closing out. And we've got a few people who are right in there trying to get that last bid. But somebody is going to go home. Let's see who it's going to be. Somebody gets that long weekend destination in Londonderry, Vermont. And it looks like it's going to be Steve Rosenberg for the win. Yes. All right, congratulations to you. And if you didn't get that item, please look at the next 3 items because there's more fun trips to bid on. Now, this next one that we've got is a party. This is great. This is a not so wimpy party. So this is really fun because this is a Diary of a Wimpy Kid themed party for 10 children. Or you don't have to be an actual child. This could be for 10 inner children. You can throw it for yourself and your friends if you like. So this is going to be for 10 people. What I love about this is it solves what do you do during COVID for a birthday party? Holy cow, do we have the answer for you. So this is pretty unique. You're gonna get all the party stuff. You're gonna get, party favors and sundaes and treats and all that kind of fun stuff. But the really compelling thing about this is you're gonna get a virtual studio tour and Q&A with Jeff Kinney, which is very special. And then for all of the people who are attending, because this can be a virtual party, you get a signed copy of his newest book, The Getaway. And that's a signed copy for all 10 attendees. And again, if it's your children that are going to be attending this, how fun to start them off by appreciating an author signed book. It's so special. That would be really cool to kick them off with that kind of tradition. Anyway, let's see, what else are you going to get? Just unending respect from your kids and jealousy from the other kids' parents that they weren't here to get this. So go online, throw in your bids right now. Like I said, you're going to get drawing themed party favors. You're going to get JP Lick's Sunday spread or some sort of virtual party replacement. Again, perfect COVID party. We've got this figured out for you. Completely unique experience. Expires in a year. So let's see where we started and where we're going. We started at $500 and we're up to $750. So now I'm going to ask for $1,000. So that's just $100 each for the children to be able to talk to an author and to be inspired by somebody who's writing the books that they love and that they hold dear. So you're at $750 right now. I'd love to go to $1,000. Do we have $1,000 out there? $1,000, because we are all in the midst of the dog days of the quarantine. Who knows what to do for a birthday party anymore? I mean, heck, I've got a birthday party coming up. I would do this, because I mean, what a rare experience for your friends. What's something different to shake things up during this weird period of time that we're in. So again, we're up to $750 right now. I'd love to get it up to $1,000. Do we have $1,000 for this unique experience for a children's birthday party during the pandemic? Like to get it up to $1,000. We got $750 going once. I'm looking for $1,000. Let's go $750 twice. I'm looking for $1,000. Or this one is going to be closed out. And somebody, one of the last bidders on this, is going to get that unending respect from their children and their children friends. You guys are going to get Parents of the Year on this one. And the winner of this one is, drumroll please, everybody, the winner of the Diary of a Wimpy Kid themed party is Christine Kang. Congratulations, Christine. Thank you so much for bidding on that one. Okay, friends, we've got 2 more live auction items ready for you. But what I want to do right now is I'm going to pass this over for a minute or two to our lovely event chairs, Jillian Coley and Benyel Sims.
Hi, Jillian.
Hi, Vinyal. It's nice to see you this evening. Thank you, Zan, so much, and Joanne also for kicking off the festivities tonight. And what a moving video presentation that was. I'm always so inspired by how many lives 826 touches. So hello, everybody. I'm Jillian Coley, and I'm the president of the board of 826 Boston and one of the co-chairs of this evening's Night of 1,000 Stories. Thank you all for joining us tonight in our new virtual format.
And I'm Benyel Sims, a new board member at 826 Boston and co-chair of Night of 1,000 Stories. On behalf of all of us at 826, welcome.
826 Boston is a youth writing and book publishing organization. Now in our 13th year, we're dedicated to empowering traditionally underserved students, ages 6 to 18, to find their voices, share their stories, and gain communication skills to succeed in school and in life. Even right now, using a virtual format, we are continuing to work with young people every day in our after-school program and in our 6 writers' rooms. I've been involved with 826 Boston since 2013, initially drawn to it by the after-school tutoring and book publishing programs. But in the last 8 years, I've been so proud and impressed to watch 826 create ever more outlets for today's young voices.
And I joined the 826 family about 4 years ago and decided to take on a leadership role this year because now more than ever, it's imperative that we amplify the voices of our students and help shape the future leaders and storytellers. So many of you know that we typically do our Night of 1,000 Stories in the spring and in person. 8 months later, we've reimagined a great virtual experience, and we couldn't have done it without all of you and our generous sponsors.
Thank you to the many generous institutions who have supported this virtual event. We know it takes a leap of faith and creativity to envision a way to celebrate given the challenges of 2020. So thank you to Amundi Pioneer, HubSpot, Putnam Investments, Carol Remick Charitable Foundation, Nutter, Brookline Bank, Fiduciary Trust, Morgan Stanley, Nellie Mae Education Foundation, Tufts Health Plan, Houghton Mifflin Harcourt, WBUR, and the Boston Globe.
And thank you to our many individual sponsors. We're so grateful. And of course, thank you to our team at AE Events for helping us envision a new and safe way to celebrate. So there are many ways to give tonight, and we hope you join us at any level you can. To pledge or donate, please click the donate button in the top corner of your screens. And don't forget to bid on our remaining auction items. Back to you, Zan.
Thank you, Benyel. Now, speaking of your next auction items, we're going to want to go on to our next 2 live auction items. And the first one is A Night In at the Movies with Boston Globe TV and film critic Ty Burr, who is also a published author himself. He's written 5 books. So this one's going to be fun because you're going to be able to consult with Ty on the movie that you're going to watch, or maybe it's part of a series that you'd like to watch, and you're going to watch a virtual party with your friends, followed by a discussion with Ty Burr, and then he's going to join you at the end to discuss. So what's also fun about this is that everybody in your party is going to get sent 12 packs of Sam Adams beer. Of course, that's for a local delivery, if that's okay with you. And then we're also going to send some theater snacks and a cozy blanket for the scary parts in case you watch a scary movie. So let's see. The real draw I want to tell you about this one is the conversation that you're going to have with Ty and some of those perks that we're going to send. So let's see where we started and where we're going. So we started at $500 and now we're up to $750. 750, so let's get it up to $1,000. We're at 500, love to go, we're at 750, love to go to $1,000. We went from 500 to 750, so the next one's 1,000. We have $1,000. Come on, 826 Boston, love you guys. Let's come on back into the room, grab your wine, grab your friend, and grab your phone and bid right now for $1,000 so that you and 9 of your friends can watch a movie. Ty's gonna help you pick it out. I feel like one of the hardest things that's happening in COVID right now that we're all getting used to it is, oh, well, okay, now what do I watch? Now that I've been through everything on Netflix and whatever else there may be out there, what do we watch? Well, why not get Ty's expert opinion on it? We're at 500, we went to 750, and now I'm asking $1,000 for this, $1,000, and you and, again, 9 of your friends, so 10 guests all together, are going to enjoy locally delivered beer. You're going to have an expert critic help you pick out the movie, and then you're going to have a conversation with them afterwards, talking about maybe the themes of, yes, we got $1,000. Thank you, Ellen, for coming in for $1,000. Now let's go up to $1,250. Do we have $1,250? Janet, let's come back in, $1,250. Allison, how about $1,250 from you? And again, don't think about the prize that you're getting, even though it's awesome, and the real draw is the conversation that you're going to be having afterwards with your friends and Ty. And I want you to think about this money going to 826's amazing programs, and the need is, of course, doubled during the time of COVID. And the weird silver lining is that we get to reach more children, but that means we need more help. We need more support. That's what we do, is support the children to bring out their artistry. So we're at 1,000 right now. I'd like to go to 1,250. Do we have 1,250? Got 1,000 going once. Love to make it to 1,250. We've got 1,000 going twice. Love to make it to 1,250. All right, we are going to close this one out, and I'm going to be able to tell you who's going to get to have a phenomenal conversation with Ty Burr and 9 of their closest friends after enjoying a few Sam Adams, and the winner is Ellen Whalen. Congratulations, Ellen. That's fantastic. That's going to be a fun night for everybody. All right, we've got one final live auction item, friends. Stick with me. Look at your phones right now. Bid on this one. So let's kick this live auction, the ending of it. Let's kick the ending of it off, just the live auction part of it, with a practically magic dinner with Alice Hoffman. So this prize is a dinner party with Alice Hoffman. Here's the great part about it. This prize can be done in person, or it can be done separately, depending on what you're comfortable with. So what I'm telling you is that you're gonna have a catered meal, and it can be for you and 10 of your friends at your home, or we can deliver the 10 meals to all your friends, 8 guests, to 8 friends' homes. So all of those meals can go out separately to them. And we're also bringing in bottles of wine with it. 8 bottles of wine, 8 meals, Zoom discussion, and dinner with Alice Hoffman. The wine pairings are lovely. They have been chosen by Rebels Lauren Friel. This is a 20-minute Q&A. People are bidding on this one, so I'm going to stop talking because you already know that she's written over 30 books, The Rules of Magic, so much more. Okay, let's kick this off. We started at 500, we did 750, then 12, then 1,500, now 2,000, 2,250, we got 2,750, we got 3,000, we got $3,250, we got 3,500, 3,750, now we're at $4,000. Fantastic. Let's go 4,250. Where's my 4,250? Let's go in. We've got Janet here at $4,000. We got Maria come back in at 4,250. We got, let's see, oh, I'm sorry, that's Marla come back in. Marla, we're looking for $4,250 right now. Harvey, we want $4,250. Come on back in. Come on back in. Let's see. We're at 4,000 right now, looking for $4,250. $4,250 for, again, you can create this any way that you like it. If you'd like to have just half of the party at your house, and half of them can be in their own homes. We can send those catered meals out to those friends. We can send those bottles of wine out to those friends, and everybody can be a part of this 20-minute Q&A with Alice Hoffman. Yes, we're at 4,250 right now. Let's go 4,500. Were you at 4,500? Let's go 4,500. Thank you for coming in, Marla. Janet, you've been outbid, my friend. You've been outbid, and we want you to come back in. Come back in. Let that competitive spirit shine through during this event, just for the spirit of 826 Boston's children, for the students. We've got $4,500. Yes! Let's go 4,750. How about 4,750? Do we have 4,750? Janet, come back in. Marla, come back in. Where are you? Harvey, come back in. We're at 4,500, I believe, right now. We're looking for 4,750. Yes, we're at 4,500 right now. I'm looking for 4,750. We got 4,500 going once. I'm looking for 4,750. We got 4,500 going twice. I'm looking for $4,750, or this one is going to be closed out. And somebody, as I was going to say, going to go home with this package. We're not going home with it. We are bringing it to you. We are bringing you catered meals. We are bringing you bottles of wine, and we are bringing them to Marla Felcher for $4,750. Amazing way to come in at the very end. That is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And I forgot to even mention also, Marla, you've got another item that's coming with this, is that we're going to help you play matchmaker, and you can choose a book for your next book club's party, and we're going to donate 8 copies of a book for each guest. So congratulations. Now, friends, that is the end of the live auction. As I promised, it is not the end of the fundraiser, though. So please keep your phones handy. Keep that phone handy, because we are not done with the fundraising. But right now, I'm going to pass this off to our friend from 826 Boston. She happens to be our amazing executive director, Jessica Drench. And we're going to learn more about the incredible ways that 826 Boston is meeting the needs of students in Boston. I'm going to see you in just a couple or few minutes with more ways to support the great work of this organization.
Hi everyone. For those of you who I haven't met yet, my name is Jess. I use the pronouns she, hers, and I'm executive director of 826 Boston. And we're so excited to share this evening with you. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that the land where the 826 Boston Center, offices, and partner schools are located in Greater Roxbury, and where I'm dialing in from in Melrose, Massachusetts, are in the original homelands of the Massachusetts tribe. And we honor and pay our respects to the ancestral bloodline of the Massachusetts tribe and to their descendants who are still inhabiting the land on which we work, serve, and live today. There are over 500 people zooming in tonight from across the country, and we're so excited to bring together so many different members of the 826 Boston community. Our donors, partner teachers, students and alum, volunteers, board and team members, and community partners. And I know we're all really looking forward to hearing from best-selling author Angie Thomas later in the program. Ibram X. Kendi, author of How to Be an Anti-Racist, describes her as one of the great literary voices of our times, noting, "I don't know if anyone has done more to inspire young people in the social justice movement more than Angie Thomas." And tonight we bring together Miss Thomas, Robin Young, and 826 Boston alumna, poet, and activist, Legacy Thornton. And that's all to come. First, I'd like to just take a few minutes to share some updates from 826 Boston. It's our mission to amplify the voices and stories of the next generation of young leaders. From performance poems to college essays to civic engagement projects, 826 Boston students explore the beauty and the brilliance of their imaginations, and through the power of words, learn to advocate for themselves and their vision for the future. When students open up 826 Boston books, they see authors who look like them, and they find their life experiences reflected in the pages. The powerful message is, your stories matter. Your voices matter. The racial justice uprisings and recent election have held a mirror up to the deep work that needs to be done in this country to root out centuries of systemic racism and white supremacy. As an organization, 826 Boston recently shared our diversity, equity, and inclusion action plans that have been in development for over 2 years and are being built into our goals and practices. And we do this ongoing work as part of our responsibility to repair and heal our country, our organizations, and ourselves, and to be able to provide safe places for students to write about their fears, hopes, identities, and dreams. Since shifting to all virtual services in mid-March, we've provided over 7,000 hours of writing and tutoring support that is free to students and their families. In the pandemic, the disparities that existed in the communities that we serve have been magnified, and the opportunity gap has widened. In response, our talented team has redoubled their efforts to customize learning opportunities remotely for every school, classroom, and student who we serve. We're in a place to effectively and compassionately respond to this moment and remain committed as ever to providing students with resources and support as they write their paths forward through this profound chapter in our history. Tonight you'll hear from Legacy Thornton and Tariq Charles, both from the 826 Boston Writers Room Slam Poetry team. We hired Legacy after she graduated from high school to coach the team at her alma mater, the John D. O'Brien School of Math and Science in Roxbury, where she started coaching Tariq Charles, who you're going to hear from too. And they were both featured in a BBC documentary last year that reached over 10 million listeners worldwide. For me, as a former Boston Public Schools teacher, it is amazing to see students gain confidence in their voices and in their writing skills. But to see them become mentors and teachers themselves and to guide one another on their paths is just, it's the best. It doesn't get much better than that. So it's really my joy to introduce you tonight to Legacy and to Tariq, two talented young artists who are profound storytellers and truth tellers as well. And we also hope that you'll be inspired to support our work this evening. We want to thank all of you for being here, and to those of you who have already contributed, thank you. There will be opportunities to give both during the event and after the event, and it really is what makes all of this possible. So now it's my pleasure to introduce a film directed by Matt Watson and featuring poet, rapper, and 826 Boston student Tariq Charles.
I'm Tariq Charles. I'm 18. I go to the John D. O'Brien School of Mathematics and Science. That rhymes, kind of. Yeah. I was born and raised around Boston, Dorchester to be specific. It's cold here. I love writing. I love writing poetry. I love writing raps. I was a shy kid. My mom would tell you, I didn't talk till I was 4. It was hard for me to make friends a lot of the time because I just didn't know how people would relate to each other. I started writing poetry just to help myself through tough situations and get a better understanding of who I am and the world around me. There's so much stuff going on around you. It's it feels like you can't even breathe. I could talk about COVID. I could talk about Black Lives Matter, protests, police brutality, white supremacy. I could talk about all of that, but there's so much going on externally. I think I just gotta focus on myself internally and make sure I'm okay. Because that's a lot of pressure, from the world. COVID allowed me to be grateful. 2020 has been dang, I'm alive, cool. I'm happy because I'm alive. Some of the people, in my neighborhood, they don't really like poetry. They don't like none of that stuff. It just offered me an outlet to meet people that I probably would have never talked to. I would have been scared to talk to, if anything. So yeah, that's what 826 did for me. And also helped me open my mind and put me in a room with a lot of great people. I had a great poetry coach at 826. Shout out Legacy Thornton. Without 826, probably wouldn't be a good poet. I probably would have stopped after middle school. I'm glad that I came to a high school with an outlet for poetry. Meeting up with people that are on this the same wavelength as me, sharing ideas with people. I think poetry is really good on that aspect because it starts a lot of important conversations. You actually go out and perform, and then after, people come up asking questions, and you can build dialogue on all of this stuff that you just talked about and even more. I want to grow the amount of people I can reach, because the more people I share my stories to, the more I can learn. Writing is an escape and a foundation for a conversation. I was just dealing with a lot on my mind from seeing a lot of black people get killed from the police. For me, just seeing black people get killed over and over again, like that's why I wrote this piece, because it was just one way for me to release that negative energy. My people are never complacent, only impatient of Jim Crow's new manifestations. You told our rising sons who were slaves searching for salvation. We kept praying and you kept praying on our innocence, which was taken. I wonder how we beat these limitations, defeated racist creations that kept our mind in enslavement. Thanks to the ones that laid the groundwork like under the pavement, resting under graves for refusing society's prior placements and being put in Uncle Sam's basement. Defacement of our culture you did, but thanks to us, we created dances that you all did. And your kids too. We're all kids of the diaspora that is living in the red, white, and blue. We couldn't get a clue, even though you told us we was lesser than you. But the pestering protesters got the better of you. So forget your politics, policies, and apologies. This is anti-America. We've been here since the colonies. We were property that helped you fight free from our sovereignty. Do you follow me? Do your research? Report back to me. Being black is more than half of me. It never atrophy. America, look after me. America, look at me. I'm not atrophied. My freedom will never be a casualty, and that's a guarantee. And we put that on all of me.
Wow, Tariq, that was just amazing. I hear stories from 826 Boston students, and they always blow me away. But Tariq, you are something special. And I know that you're out there, and I want to congratulate you, my friend. Everybody give him a little hand clap there at home. Let him know we got 500 people supporting him out there. I cannot wait to see where your writing takes you. So exciting. All right, look, friends, we would love to be together today, of course. But we're pretty excited that we've been able to include so many of you from across the country. And to celebrate this widening of our audience, we've got a generous donor who's going to match all of the out-of-town gifts tonight. That's right, all of the out-of-town gifts tonight. So everyone from out of town who makes a donation by clicking the link and responding to a text or an email or just mailing a check, you're going to be matched. Now, we also want to let you know that your credit cards are not going to be charged tonight. So if you want to make a big pledge now, do it online. Help us reach our goal of $125,000. And I'm going to start calling out some numbers, but your job is to go into your phone and again, go into your texts, click the link that we have sent you, and pick a donation level there for you. And if you'd like to customize your amount, you can just click donate and that'll work too. So I'm gonna ask for some large numbers. I'm gonna take it down to $100. I'm gonna ask for $10,000 to begin with. If anybody could donate $10,000, that's going to support writers' rooms inside Boston Public Schools. So even now, when Boston students are learning from home, the writers' room team is providing thousands of hours of individualized support to students all over the city. And what do I mean by individualized? I mean that we start right where they are, in a safe place. If they don't feel like jumping into a Zoom call, they don't have to. They can start off mic, off camera, and we can meet them where they are and help bring them out of their shell so that they can unleash their stories and their creativity on us. All right, we're up to $77,000. I want to say thank you to a handful of people coming through. Evelyn Marshall, thank you for your $250. Gretchen May, thank you for your $1,000. Haley McKay for $20. Thank you so much. Christina Mellinger for $1,000. We've got an anonymous coming in for $200, and you're welcome to go anonymous if you'd like to. Appreciate that. John O'Keefe, $250. I love it. So that's $10,000. Now I'm going to go down to $8,260, which is of course a great number for 826 Boston. $8,260. Don't be overwhelmed by these large numbers I'm starting to ask for. Think of it like Desmond Tutu said. Don't be overwhelmed by the world. Just do your little bits of good how you can, where you are, and those little bits of good together will overwhelm the world. And so these little bits of good together, what I'm talking about is our volunteers right here, right now. So we've got more than 600 people typically who support 826 Boston as volunteers every single year. And they support the student. Think of the students. The students are already great. Oh my gosh, we're up to $80,000. Hang on to that note that the students are already great because they are. Oh, we're up to $90,000. I got to thank some people. Okay, Crystal Williams, I see you in for $250. Lots of anonymouses coming in for $20. Appreciate every single one of you. Up to 90. Let's keep getting that to climb on up, guys. Because like I said, these students are artists already. Am I going to compare them to Michelangelo? Yep, I'm jumping into that now because they They are wonderful, talented students. And our volunteers are like, think of them like the scaffolding for Michelangelo when he was painting the Sistine Chapel, right? He just needed a little support. That's what you're doing right now with your grace. Thank you for your $250 with your support. And that support goes to the volunteers, so the volunteers can support them and help them climb up high. So where are we? We're at Elaine, you have $250. Heather Buckley in for $100. Kathleen Burke in for $500. That's amazing. We're up to $97,000 right now, a little bit over that. So let's keep on climbing and keep on moving down the line and see what other donations we can bring in. Leah Cotton in for $100. Friends, one of my favorite things that the volunteers find themselves saying more than once is to a student, they say to them, what you just said is really interesting to me. Now, can you imagine if somebody looks you in your eye when you're a vulnerable teenager and actually says that you're valid, what you're saying is worth something, and I find it interesting? Think of the confidence that instills in young students to be able to hear. And it's not just about the writing, not just about the grammar, not just about the poetry, but it's about the confidence that it builds in them and how that translates into the rest of the world. Oh, we're up and over $101,000. This is amazing. Let's keep going down. So that was the $8,260 level. Let's move it down to $5,000. And I also want to thank the people. Virginia Hogan for $2,500. Thank you. Tim House, $2,500. Thank you. Jenny Johnson, $200. Thank you. Barbara Joseph, $250. Thank you. Justin Kang, $100. Thank you. Lisa Katzen, I think, was $100. Oh boy, Elizabeth Kellogg in for $1,000. All right, we're at the $5,000 level right now. You just keep those pouring in, and I'm going to zoom through these levels and tell you these amazing things that 826 does and why I'm so passionate about it. Okay, now I'm going to talk about YLab. It's the Youth Literary Advisory Board. So think project-based learning. That is super key right now. And the projects that are in obviously books, that's the magic of 826, but also podcasts. 826 Boston had their first podcast ever this year called Excuse My Culture. You can check it out on Spotify. So write that down, Excuse My Culture, go check it out on Spotify. So like, this is what I'm talking about. This is the we're up to $109,000. This is awesome. Again, y'all keep pouring this money in because this is the magic that 826 brings. It's to engage students with products like this, like a book or a podcast. This is wonderful. Keep them going in. We're going to move down to $2,500 because we're up to $110,000. Keep them pouring in. Pour them on in. If you've already donated once, you can donate again. Don't let me stop you. Just because you donated once, you can donate again in your brother's or your sister's name, your parents' name, somebody's birthday's name that's coming up. We're at the $2,500 level right now. This is funding after-school writing and a tutoring program. So what's great about this is so much. For one, our volunteers are consistent. So those children are going to meet with somebody who's going to show up for them. And they know who's going to be there on Tuesdays and Thursdays or what day, what have you, you know? They know who they're going to meet, and those people they show up for them. And they find out how they're doing, and if they can't show up, if the students can't show up, they figure out what's up with the student. They go into their reality. They ask them, hey, how come you can't come to these Zoom meetings? So think of it like, if somebody falls into a river, 826 just doesn't pull them out of the river. They go upstream, figure out why they fell in. Because, maybe they're busy. Maybe they're working because they have to help make ends meet for their family right now. Oh my goodness, donations are pouring in. We're up to 117. Let's keep it coming in. Paul Burnham, thank you for your $1,000. Angela Bowman, thank you for $100. Katie O'Brien, $500. Thank you. Another anonymous in for $1,000. Thank you. Heather Buckley, you've got your $100. Thank you right now. Oh, Ty Burr, thank you for showing up with your $500, sir. That's so super kind of you. You're so generous. Marisha, I'm going to say it's Siachia. I'm going to go with that. I think it's $100 or $200. Thank you so much. There's so many coming in. I'm hoping I can find them all. Jacob Cohen in for $100. Keep those donations pouring in. Please, please. We're going to move on to the $1,000 level. I'm going to talk about college boot camp essays right now. I am passionate and on fire about the college boot camp essays. For so many reasons, it means the world. And I'm talking about more than just the writing. Yes, it's about creating the perfect college essay to help them get into a great school and then have a great career after that. But it's also the process of writing that evolves a being so much. It's about beyond the writing, It's about what the writing does and how it changes you. Heidi Flood, thank you for your $50. Margaret G, thank you for your $200. And what I mean how it changes you is it takes come on, when was the last time we wrote 3 or 4 drafts of something? You know, you have to open yourself up in the editing process to vulnerability. It takes courage to be that kind of vulnerable. It takes to do this kind of work, it takes and teaches the students determination and grit and gives them an awesome work ethic. So let's keep those donations coming in. Come on, we're at 119. I'm going to start moving this on and wrapping this up. We're moving on to $500 right now. So $500 helps support things like you just saw from Tariq Slam Poetry, which I think, and I bet you do too, is more important now than ever for the students to have a safe place in 2020. Thank you so much. Lisa Leibovitz, $250. Kristen Letts, $3,500. I'm going to move on to the $250 level. We got just 2 more levels left, and we're almost at our goal. Come on. Oh, we're over at 121. We're almost, yes, $122,000. $250 supports creative writing workshops. Okay. You know a lot of the fundamentals of 826 Boston right now, but what's great about these workshops is that some of them have been moved to the evenings to accommodate the schedules of high school students because they're essential workers for their families. So let's keep going. We're at $122,700 right now. Let's go to $100. $100, they're going to be working on STEM. They're going to be working on playwriting projects. So you guys get your phones right now. I'm getting mine because I don't want to tell you to do anything that I wouldn't happily do as well. So I'm going to click make a donation. And you're going to see how easy it is to go in and make a donation. It's simple. It's easy. Do it right now. I'm wrapping this up. And I'm going to tell you this, that one of the things that we do is we, in these Zoom rooms, we'll ask the children, talk to us about what makes the world a better place and a kinder place and why. These are to second graders, and they say wonderful things like that they can make the world more kind by finding a cure for coronavirus so they can go back to school because they want to learn. Isabella told us that one of my favorite things is that they said we can stop littering and be nicer to the earth. We can ride bikes and not drive cars much. This is a second grader, Mabel, who told us that. So I challenge you right now to find a way to make the world a better place by picking up the phone. Join them. Join our second graders who have great answers for how to make the world a better place. I know that 826 Boston is committed to the students, and I hope that you too are committed to picking up your phone right now, looking at the options and pressing a button. Okay, that's the end of me for right now. We're up to 123 and then $796. So we're so close to our goal. I know we're going to hit our goal, but I'm going to move on and we're going to keep that. Yes, we're at our goal. Okay, keep our goal. Don't let me celebrate too much. For one, I'm not supposed to flail my arms because it doesn't work out great for AV. So I love you all so much. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your night. We're going to move on now with a video and an interview by Robin Young, who is interviewing Angie Thomas. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, 826. And I have to say, there's so much excitement here. Just before we were to come up, Legacy, if I've got this right, you were reacting to Angie Thomas telling you, we've all met before in different events, and Legacy, you were reacting to Angie just kind of casually mentioning that, oh, her mother remembered you.
Yeah.
Which meant a lot to you. And Angie, we've spoken before. It's so great to speak with you again. We were in Cambridge, I think, at that time.
Yes. Yeah. It's so good to speak with you both. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure, and we're going to get right to it. But I want to just fill in a little bit here. Legacy is a Boston-based writer, poet, social justice activist, superstar in my eyes. She's also a natural hair enthusiast. That may come up. A former member of 826 Boston's award-winning slam poetry team, and she went on to coach the team at the John D. O'Brien School of Math and Science, which she graduated from. In her spare time, she likes to sing and write songs, so I think that's going to make its way into this conversation because we know, Angie, how much you've been influenced by music. So we're going to get to Legacy in 1 second, but also Angie Thomas. I can't imagine there are those who don't know, but already in the firmament of YA novels, you flew from Jackson, Mississippi to the top of the New York Times bestseller list with 2017's The Hate You Give, which followed the teenager star Carter as her unarmed black friend is killed by a white police officer. Then came 2019's On the come up, the story of a teen rapper who goes viral and the consequences of that. The producer of This Is Us is now writing the screenplay for the film adaptation. There are some of us, do not call us on Tuesday night. We're watching This Is Us. And your third book just came out, The Concrete Rose. It's a prequel to The Hate U Give. So we want to talk all about that. But Angie Thomas, welcome virtually back to Boston. And I just want to ask you before we bring Legacy, and she's got so many questions, as a younger writer who's looking up to you, so many questions to ask of you. But I'm just wondering, how are you feeling about being in this moment? We talked about 2017's The Hate U Give, writing about one of the first to write in a YA novel about, unarmed young black men killed by white police officers. And then here we are in a year of racial reckoning. Do you think about that? Like, wow, I'm positioned for this moment.
I do. I've thought about it a lot. Over the past couple of months, I've had a lot of young people specifically who've reached out to me, and they're like, Angie, your book is coming to life. And I have to remind them, I tell them it was alive in 2017. It's been alive since the inception of this country. It's just that now more of us are becoming aware of it. But I'm thankful to know that my book also has empowered young people for this moment. I'm often labeled as being the voice for them, and I have to correct that, because the fact is they have their own voices, they have their power. I'm just their microphone. So I'm thankful to know that for this moment, I gave them something to look to for encouragement, for empowerment, to help them remember that there's power in their words, there's power in their voices, there's power in them to change the world, to change movements.
Well, but yes, you're absolutely right. And places like A26 with the programs that they've had, it's like there's been a nexus that seems to be meeting of the work of groups like 826, which have been empowering a lot of young people of color to tell their stories. Then people like you who they see actually do it. And I was reminded of how much this has been growing in leaps and bounds. I don't know if you saw the children's section of this past Sunday's New York Times book review, and it's the children's books, and look at all the stories about young black people. I mean, when I was coming up, there weren't any. And then I'm thinking of, this is one of my favorite new books, I Am Every Good Thing. Terrific new book. Yeah, it's so great. I mean, I'm thinking of just how much the industry has grown because of writers like you. I mean, do you feel that a little more elbow room in the industry in general?
I do. I'm seeing changes. I will always say children's literature specifically has a long way to go, but there are more people who are recognizing the power of diversity in kids lit. Dr. Rudine Sims Bishop often says that books are either mirrors, windows, and sliding glass doors. And the fact of the matter is, all three are important. So it's important for Black kids to have these books now that show them themselves, but it's important for other kids to have these books to show them Black kids. It's important for them to get that window in that sliding glass door. So I'm very, I'm hopeful for what's to come in children's lit. I'm thankful for what's happening in children's literature. And I can't wait to see what it looks like 5 years from now.
Yeah. Well, I have a feeling that Legacy, Thornton might be involved. Legacy, I know you have some questions you want to ask directly, writer to writer, so go for it.
Yes. Oh, first off, hi, Angie. It's nice seeing you again. One of the questions as a writer, I just wanted to know, how did your stories come to you? I know you got a lot of experience just from, your life and, your perspective, but I was wondering, is it that you imagine everything in your head, this realistic fictional story, and then you just try and jot them all down, scene for scene, or how does that work?
It seems like with every story, there's a different origin story. Every single book that I've done so far, there's a different origin story. The Hate U Give, I was inspired by some of my own experiences to write that novel. I was a lot like Star, living in two worlds and being two different people in these two very different worlds. And when a young man named Oscar Grant lost his life at the hands of police brutality, I was around a lot of white classmates who didn't understand the outrage. And that and my frustration about the situation inspired me to eventually write a story. With On the Come Up, the character Bree was someone I always knew I wanted to tell about, because I was once a young person who looked at hip hop as a way of expressing myself. I think, though, that with both books and now with Concrete Rose, even my third one, the common factor of their origins is that it always starts with the characters for me. I'm huge on starting with character. Plot is great, but I feel as if you could have the best plot in the world, but if you don't have great characters to carry it through, you are wasting your time. So I always get characters first. I always get these images of young people in my mind and bits and pieces of who they are. And it intrigues me so much that I want to figure out a story for them, that I want to explore their lives. And I always ask myself, who are they at the beginning of this? And who do I want them to be at the end of it? And so that's usually the main thing that happens with every single book I come up with. And how I get there is, I still can't really tell you. It comes from a lot of different places. Sometimes I will dream up stuff and put it in a book.
Can I just jump in just to say for a second? What you just said is the definition of a story. It's like the Homeric journey. They start, things happen, and then how do they end up? Same with a reader. We start reading and then things happen, and how do they end up? So I love hearing that's part of the way you craft it.
Absolutely. I think the best books at some point or another, they have to answer that question. Who is this character when this book starts, and who are they when it finishes? Are they the same person, or are they a completely different person? Mm-hmm. And I can say with so far all of my books, they're completely different people by the end. And I really want to show young people that change is inevitable. It's okay to evolve. It's okay to change. And we're all still figuring it out. Even when you're not so young, you're still figuring it out. I know I'm figuring it out every single day. So I hope I'm not the same person next year that I was today.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you. Yeah. Star, she was in The Hate U Give, she was a very outspoken advocate for her people and like the Black Lives Matter movement, especially when her best friend Khalil died. So what is your position on young Black women being on the front lines when it comes to protesting?
I'm very proud of them, but I wish it wasn't necessary. I totally wish. I remember recently someone showed me a picture of this little girl who couldn't have been any more than 8 years old, and she was at a protest for George Floyd, and she was screaming out, yelling, and letting everybody know that his life mattered. And all I could think was, I love that magic and that power inside of her, but this shouldn't be necessary. Mm-hmm. It shouldn't be that this image of this child is what gets into people and changes their perception. It shouldn't be that she even has to know what happened, that something like this happened from the get-go. I am so proud of young Black women who are getting on the forefront of social justice and fighting for Black lives and making themselves heard. But I'm also wondering, when will everybody else stand up, speak up, and do the same? So that the burden is not theirs and theirs alone. So often it seems as if that's what happens. We see the power of Black women. We just saw it this past week, and we know what we're capable of doing and what we do, what we have done. And I just want everybody else to step up to the plate too. So it doesn't seem as if this is our responsibility alone.
Just jumping in, when you say this past week in Georgia, Black women are given the credit for almost flipping that state to the Democrats. Yeah. And definitely pushing 2 Senate races into a runoff. The Black women, Stacey and others are, behind that. But Legacy, jump back in.
Okay. Yeah, sure. So we know that there will be a movie adaptation for On the Come Up, like there was for The Hate U Give. I'm really excited about that. And I also, again, wanted to congratulate you for your success on both The Hate U Give and On the Come Up. Just really well done. So I was wondering about the casting. A couple of my friends were kind of disappointed, like once they read the book, they imagined, the star to be different than what they saw on screen, and like how much of an impact did you have like with the casting? Like how did you feel about the casting and stuff like that?
Well, there's a big misconception about the whole casting situation, and a lot of people don't know that Amandla was cast as Star about a year and a half before there was ever a cover for The Hate You Give and the book was ever out. Amandla was one of the first people to ever read it outside of like me, my family, and my agent and my editor. She was one of the first people to ever get to read it. And so when she was attached to the role, it was, for me, I was happy because so much of who Star is was influenced by young women like Amandla. Amandla has been very vocal about social justice, and had that whole "do not cash crop my cornrows" thing that came out. So when I saw that,
Could you explain that? Could you explain that to?
For like, I can say a little bit about it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, because I love Amanda Stenberg, and I don't think when we saw each other, I don't think I remembered to ask you if you could like tell her like I love her or just like put my name somewhere in there, like But don't cash crop on my cornrows was pretty much about cultural appropriation, and a lot of people that aren't Black people were getting credit for Black culture pretty much, and like Black hairstyles and what was before deemed ghetto and just not favorable in the workplace was now deemed stylish when on like white people and such. So
Yes. So that was like her entire senior project in high school, and I was blown away when I saw that. And at the time I was writing The Hate You Give, so when the opportunity came, when they were like, we want to let Amandla read it, I was on board 1000%. So is colorism a problem in Hollywood? Oh, absolutely, 1000%. In fact, I'm a producer on the Come Up film, and we're making it a priority that we want to cast a dark-skinned Black girl to play Bree.
Yes.
Because we understand the importance. So I still think Amandla did a phenomenal job. And I think that the whole conversation has made Hollywood, if nothing else, take notice and hopefully start to, keep that in mind as they cast roles. But I will say that when Amandla was cast as Star, it was about who Amandla was, her talent, and how so much of her life was reflected in Star's life. So again, the conversations though, I'm glad they're happening.
And by the way, here's the cover. I'm just gonna put the book back here so that you can see the cover there. Continue, Legacy.
Okay. Yeah. I love the cover. And I was looking like a couple days ago. I was just like brushing over the books, and it seems like all of your books, like The Hate You Give, On the Come Up, and even Concrete Rose, they have like similar like aesthetics. So I don't know if that was intentional, but I like the way that happened.
Yes.
I was going to ask. So when it comes to just like on the note of just paving, not necessarily paving the way, but highlighting like Black stories and just Black conversations. I kind of like group you in with Issa Rae. Yeah, I don't know how you feel about that, but
that's an honor.
So. Sorry, but definitely like when it comes to just brushing over the books, all of the characters have different family dynamics, different issues. And I love how, you purposely did that, and you put them in the same world, but made them completely different, like not even really know each other, just to like highlight the fact that not all Black people are homogenous. And I think that that's really dope. So on that note, I wanted to ask, like, what are some other dynamics you would like to portray? Like what are some other like levels you would like to give to Black people? Like I know Issa Rae, she did she's making it known like there are awkward Black girls, there are many different types of Black people. So what are some things you'd like to explore in that?
Yeah, I love Issa and I love what she's doing. And for me, it's definitely important to show through my stories the different kinds of family dynamics. When I wrote The Hate You Give, I specifically gave Star this 2-parent loving household, because so often people act as if that doesn't exist or it's a unicorn in the Black community, and that's totally not true. Black fathers exist. In fact, studies show that of all demographics, Black fathers are more involved in their children's lives than any other demographics. And I wanted to show that on page because I felt it was important. And then with On the Come Up, it was kind of done in response to all the people who acted as if because Star had this 2-parent household that made her better than kids who don't. And I wanted to show this young woman who her family it looks different than the quote unquote traditional family. And she has a mom, but she also has her brother and she has her grandparents, and they all are part of her village and in important ways. And we shouldn't take away from that just because it doesn't look like the quote unquote norm. And now, like with Concrete Rose, I get to look at families and the way that the prison system affects them and affects the way that they look. We get to see Maverick at 17 years old. It's him and his mom, and his dad is in prison. And what it means for him as the child of someone who is incarcerated, the feeling of having a parent that is in your life but not in your life, who you can't just go see at the drop of a dime, and you have to go through all of these things just to get a phone call from them, and all of these hurdles that shouldn't be necessary. So it was important for me to craft that for young people who are dealing with that. But like now I'm working on my 4th book, which is for younger readers, and it's a fantasy novel. And I get to write this young character, this young 12-year-old girl, and her single dad, and the dynamics of that relationship. And it's been fun already. So, and anytime that I can show us in different ways, I'm gonna go for it. Anytime that I can go, and even if it's falling into what people may think is a stereotype of a single mom or something like that, I'm gonna give you the reasons why this person is a single mom, or what this family looks like beyond just it being a single mom household, and what this village looks like. Because Black families period, look so many different ways, and we have to stop putting that term in a box and acting as if there's only one legitimate way for people to be a family.
Right. Thank you. And yeah, I'm glad that you started talking to us about your new novel, about your new novels and your books and stuff. I think it's really dope. I definitely wanted to know more about I guess going back to your inspiration for your books, especially Concrete Rose. Yeah, I asked my friends like on like Facebook, like what are some questions that they would like to know from you? And so, yeah, inspiration for Concrete Rose, and just inspiration for some of the characters, like, for example, the dad and the Hate You Give. Like, did these characters, I don't want to say bite off of like certain people in your real life, but yeah, that.
Yeah, I got you. Maverick has always been like a reader favorite of all of my characters, like, and it's been interesting to me to see the wide range of readers who love him. I get young people who are like, Maverick reminds me so much of my dad, and then I get the moms coming up behind them in the line, and they're like, oh my God, Maverick, I love me some Maverick, I want to marry Maverick. And I'm like, he's a character, but okay. But also people were intrigued by him, because the question was always, how did he become this dad and this man that we see in The Hate You Give with the things that we know about him? We know that he used to be in a gang, that he used to sell drugs, that he was once imprisoned, and now he's a member of his community who's actually making a difference and owns a business and all of these different things. But beyond that, he's an active, involved, loving father, and so people always were asking me, how did he get to be this? And it made me start to ask myself that. But I think the true inspiration actually came from the film adaptation. Russell Hornsby, who played Maverick, did a phenomenal job in that film. I still think he was robbed of some awards. I stand by that. But he did a phenomenal job. But while we were filming, I was on set for 6 weeks, and I had a chance to get to talk to him, and I got a chance to see him become Maverick. Russell is a phenomenal actor, because when he would step on set, he was automatically Maverick, whether the camera was rolling or not. He changed his whole persona, the way he carried himself, the way he spoke, the way he walked, everything, the music he listened to. When he was Maverick, it was different. He truly took that character on. And we would have conversations, and he would ask me things that made me think deeper about my character. And I have to admit, some stuff I answered on the spot. It was stuff I hadn't thought about. And as I was telling him these things, I was like, that sounds good, actually, huh? Maybe I should explore that a little more. And so having those conversations with him really inspired me to write this character's story and turn it into a novel, because I feel as if, one, so many people want to know these things about Maverick, and two, it could be real inspiring for the real Mavericks out there. The real young men who are often written off, and we don't give them nearly enough chances because of one mistake or two mistakes or whatever. I think that it can be inspiring for them and give them some hope, and hopefully also show the rest of us the beauty that really lies within them.
Yeah. I want to turn my light on because I'm getting really dark.
That happens.
Yes.
Yeah.
You guys can't see my face, so I'm gonna just turn my light on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ta-da! Yay.
Okay, great. So my last question to you, Angie, is we know that you love hip hop and just music in general, and it was kind of there when books weren't. So I was wondering, what song in general would you use to describe or personify each book you've written?
Ooh. Which song for each book? That's a great question. For The Hate You Give, it would probably be Changes by Tupac. For On the Come Up, it would probably be Juicy by the Notorious B.I.G., which I know to Tupac fans, they're like, why would you name the Biggie song? Let me live, y'all. Okay. Or I'd actually go with also UNITY by Queen Latifah. And for Concrete Rose, that one is a little harder. It's hard to say that there's a song. I'd go to the poem, The Rose That Grew from Concrete by Tupac, which obviously inspired the title of the novel. So this is, for me, like the last book I'll write in Garden Heights, and it felt fitting to go back to the poem that inspired even the name Garden Heights. I always felt like I was writing about a giant concrete garden, and I'm just pointing out the roses that are growing in the cracks. So it felt fitting to go to that poem for the title of the last book set in that concrete garden.
Okay. Terrific.
Thank you.
Well, this has been so great. First of all, to hear from Legacy. It was just a terrific writer and someone who's benefited from 826 Boston and is giving back so much, Legacy, with the work that you do. But I just guessed, Angie, did you have anything? I mean, you had a professor who said to you, it sounded like you were doing a lot of code switching, trying to be all sorts of different people, and you had a professor who said, write what you know. And we're hearing from Legacy, who's hanging on your every word. Did you have something what do you think the benefit of something like an 826 Boston, which is giving young people their voice? What do you think the benefit is?
The benefit is the investment it's going to make it's making into the future. Organizations like 826 Boston, they are literally helping to craft the next set of leaders of this world. Young people who have voices now become adults who have voices. There's so many people who don't recognize the power that's within them because they've never been told that it's there. And by having creative outlets like writing as a way to make themselves heard, it gives them tools that will benefit us all. So I think had I had something like 826 Boston, I would have benefited greatly. I would have known that I could tell stories, that I could use my voice, that words had power, and that I had the power to use them to craft stories that could change lives. I would have probably written The Hate You Give way sooner than I did. And I just think that we need more of that. We need more organizations like this. We need more, I call it a movement. We need more movements like this, because we see what happens when you have adults who don't feel like they have a voice, who don't make themselves heard, who just go with the flow and never feel as if they can challenge the status quo. We end up stagnant. So I'm so appreciative for the work that they're doing. And I hope that you all are as well, so much so that you decide to invest in the future by supporting this organization and the work that they're doing. We may have messed up, our current generations may have messed up and given them a whole lot to have to deal with in the future, but I think that these kids are going to be all right.
Well, I wasn't fishing, but I agree. This is the place where, you want to support. And boy, listening to Legacy Thornton, a product of 826 Boston, but also somebody who's given back and is now, a writer, a poet, a social justice activist. I mean, you lift us. And Angie, boy, I tell you, every time I speak with you, I feel I'm a little bit higher off the ground. So thank you so much for spending some time with all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all again for joining us this evening. We hope that you enjoyed the program and, to use Robin's words, are feeling lifted. Special thanks go to our amazing team at 826 Boston of staff and service members for their incredible work and service day in and day out, and to our board of directors for their unstoppable leadership. Big thanks go to special guests Angie Thomas, Robin Young, Joanne Chang, Legacy Thornton, and Tariq Charles, and to all of the wonderful 826 Boston community members who sent in their recordings to be included in the welcome film. More shout outs go to our generous table captains, Zan Ofterhide, filmmaker Matt Watson, and to the awesome team at WBUR for producing tonight's show. And finally, thank you for coming tonight to our event, for contributing what you can, and for being part of our work at 826 Boston. Now I'm going to pass it back to Zan for some final instructions for those of you who are going to be connecting with each other at your virtual table groups. Cheers, everybody, and thanks again. Have a great night.
Wow, what an amazing show. I thank you so much to everybody who donated. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And don't forget, these donations are going to be open for a while, so if you want to donate again, feel free. And now we want to invite you to gather with your friends at your post-event Zoom table. So right before this event, you received instructions for tonight's post-event Zoom tables, and we indicated whether you are in Zoom room A or Zoom room or table B. So what you want to do right now is you want to click the button underneath this video player right here for your Zoom table. And please note that if you did not pre-register for Zoom, you're going to be required to when you click the button for your Zoom table. No big deal. And you've got about 5 minutes to do that because the Zoom gatherings are going to start in about 5 minutes. And anyone who joins in after that might experience a little bit of a delay joining your table. So go ahead and do that now. And if you're having any kind of trouble, you can click our help button right above this video player to contact someone for assistance. And again, I want to thank each and every one of you for donating tonight and for sharing your Thursday night with 826 Boston's community. Enjoy your tables, and thank you, thank you, thank you.